Hello everyone, it's Rachel and welcome. Today we're going to tackle a topic that honestly is like free marks on your WAEC, JAMB and NECO exams, positive and normative economics. Getting this right is your secret weapon for confidently nailing those tricky questions. So let's get into it. So let's just jump right in, shall we? Have you ever been reading something about the economy and you're just like, hold on, is that a fact or is that just somebody's opinion? It's a super common point of confusion and it's right at the heart of what economics is all about. It's the huge difference between describing how the economy is and arguing for how it should be. So how do we actually sort this all out? Well, lucky for us, economics gives us two really clear categories to work with: positive economics and normative economics. The best way to think about them is as the two main lenses economists use to see the world. And I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. You've got positive economics. That's your detective, all about the facts, right? Sifting through data, piecing together the evidence, just describing what is. And then on the other side, you've got normative economics. Think of this as the judge. The judge isn't just looking at facts. They are making a ruling, a judgment. They are talking about what ought to be. One describes, the other prescribes. It really is that simple. Okay, so let's zoom in on our detective, positive economics. This is all about statements that are objective, things you can actually test. Like if I say Nigeria's inflation rate was 22.4% in 2023, is that a positive statement? You bet it is. And why? Because we can check it. You can literally go find the data from the National Bureau of Statistics and see if I'm right or wrong. It's all about that provable evidence. All right, now let's talk about the judge, normative economics. This is a whole different ballgame. This is where opinions, values, and judgments come in. It's all about what we think should happen. For instance, if I said the government should subsidize education for all citizens, did you catch that keyword should? That is your number one clue. It's a recommendation, right? It's a value judgment. There's no data set in the world that can prove that statement right or wrong. We can only debate it. This table right here, it's your ultimate cheat sheet. Seriously, look at those keywords. Positive statements, they use words like is, was, or that tricky one will lead to. Normative statements, they are full of words like should, ought to, fair, better. If you can just get this table into your head, it becomes like a checklist you can use for any exam question they throw at you. Okay, so theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works in a real exam. We're going to dive into a past question from JAMB. Let's solve this one together. Time to put on our detective hats. All right, here it is, straight from the JAMB 2018 paper. Let's read it carefully. The privatization of public enterprises will lead to efficient management of resources in the economy. Now, before you even look at the options, I want you to really focus on that one little phrase, will lead to. What's that telling you? Okay, let's walk through the logic here step by step. First, what's the goal of this statement? Is it telling us what should happen or is it predicting what will happen? That phrase, will lead to, is a huge clue. It's predicting a cause and effect relationship. It's saying if you do X, then Y will happen. Notice there are no value words here, no shoulds or oughts. So last question, is it testable? Well, yeah, in theory it is. We could go out and measure the efficiency of companies before and after they were privatized. And because it's a testable prediction, it's a job for our detective, which means the final answer has to be B, positive reasoning. And here is a super important tip for JAMB. They absolutely love to use phrases like will lead to. They want to trick you into thinking a prediction is an opinion, but it's not. A testable prediction is always positive economics. Awesome. See? You've got this. Now that we've done one together, it's your turn. We've got a YX-style question coming up. I want you to read it, maybe even pause for a second and pick your answer before I walk you through my thought process. You ready? Alright, take a look. The question is, which of the following is a normative statement? So we're looking for the opinion, the value judgment. Just scan through those options. Which one is practically screaming, I am an opinion at you? Okay, let's go through these one by one. Option A, increase in money supply causes inflation. That's a classic economic theory we can test with data, so that's positive. Option C, high interest rates discourage borrowing. Yep, that's a description of how people behave, also testable, positive. Option D, unemployment rate fell by 2% last year. That's a straight up fact you can verify, totally positive. But then look at option B. It's got that magic word we've been talking about, should. It's prescribing an action. It's telling the government what it ought to do. And that, my friends, is a classic normative statement. So yep, the answer is definitely B. See how powerful it is to just scan for those keywords. It makes the correct answer pop right out. That's the trick to nailing these questions. You guys are on a roll. Let's do one more just to really hammer this home. This one is NECO style. Let's see you apply the exact same logic we've been using. Alright, here's the statement to classify. The minimum wage in Nigeria ought to be 100,000 naira to reduce poverty. So, what do we think? Positive, the detective, or normative, the judge? Okay, this one should be pretty quick if you are looking for the clues. What's the key word that just jumps off the page? It's ought to, and as soon as you see ought to or should, those little alarm bells in your head should be going off. Ding, ding, ding. Normative economics. This statement isn't describing what the minimum wage is, it's making a recommendation about what it ought to be. That's a policy goal, a value judgment. And so the final answer is normative. Fantastic job. You've now seen exactly how this concept shows up in WAEC, JAMB, and NECO. Alright, let's bring it all home with a quick and final recap. This next slide is the one you're going to want to save, maybe even screenshot it so you can remember all this when you're sitting in that exam hall. Okay, so let's lock this in for good. Positive equals facts. It's testable. It's all about what is or what will be. Normative equals opinions. It's value-based. It's about what should or ought to be. Remember that special jam tip. Watch out for prediction words like will lead to. That's still positive. And for your WAEC and NECO theory questions, if you have to write an essay, just follow this simple structure. Definition, then the difference, then give your own examples. And please, 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 don't confuse a cause and effect prediction with a recommendation. And just in case your brain goes blank during the exam, here's a super simple memory trick. For positive, think positive proof. Can you prove it? Then it's positive. For normative, think norms and values. It's about what society's norms and values say should happen. Hopefully, that little trick will save you if you're ever in a pinch. And that is a wrap on positive and normative economics. I am so confident you're going to ace any question on this topic now. Hey, if this explainer was helpful for you, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, share it with a classmate who might be struggling, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson. And for tons more practice questions to build your confidence, head on over to www.examkp.com. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next one.